Coco's Heart has been notified about more animals than ever needing help this past year. I think our team is used to fielding urgent pleas, trying to prioritize which partners need help the most. This year became more complicated because it felt like everybody needed help in the worst way. I think we had done a really great job of developing strong relationships with our partners and our senders, and they became dependent on Coco's Heart, I think, pulling through in big ways. The dogs from the shelters were overrun. They had more need than ever. There was illness. We dealt with a really horrible distemper outbreak when the dogs arrived from a Texas rescue effort. And then we had to reshift gears and figure out what dogs do we then prioritize. And then of course the dogs in North Dakota, where the temps are already cold and they do not have the resources to make sure that they stay warm or have the supplies to help keep them safe. We worry about them. The longer they sit in that pound, the odds of them surviving are not as high. So just trying to do everything we can to hit each of these different senders with our best shot. But we continue to try to help that area throughout the winter as well. We have done this for several years. Our first year, I think we were shocked at like 50 or 70 dogs. It was a large number, but not nearly as large as it's grown into. There was one year where we welcomed 400 dogs, and by the time those dogs delivered their puppies, because so many of them arrived to rescue pregnant, I think our grand total was over 600 lives saved from that one weekend, which is amazing because the one scenario that I always share, because it's sort of what kicks me in the gut, is we've been asked a number of times in years past if we can help a mom and her litter of puppies or a litter of orphan puppies under a trailer, whatever it is. And as soon as we find out about them, we work on securing logistics, and yes, we can help them. But by the time they go to pick them up, they've been frozen. And so time is really of the essence in order to help save them. They literally may freeze to death or starve to death without rescue placement. And our Out of the Cold rescue effort is our giant network of volunteers, supporters, fosters saying, all right, everyone, we are all hands on deck. We are gonna do our very best to get as many as we can into rescue before those sub-zero temperatures. And so finding fosters who are willing to literally say, I am here to help save a life, and to know that we get hundreds of our fosters willing to do that is what makes our Out of the Cold rescue effort successful, because you don't usually get to see photos of the dogs in advance. Everything is so quick moving. You don't get to know the dog's history other than we've met the dog on site during the surrender event. It appears to be a nice dog. It was handled well, no history of aggression. It may have a broken leg, it may have porcupine quills, it may be mangy, they may be puppies with a mom or without a mom. And we just do our best to have as wide of parameters as possible within our foster commitments. One of the biggest challenges we also have with Out of the Cold is being able to fund a large-scale rescue effort. So we have to go into that rescue effort being prepared to welcome 50 dogs or 400 dogs, and to have the veterinary care on standby, the transport vehicles, the foster homes, but also the donations and the financial support to allow us to welcome dogs with unknown medical needs. So many of the dogs that we welcome from North Dakota during this rescue effort need extra medical care. And coming off of a year where we really have been slammed financially with expenses, but in order to make a rescue effort like Out of the Cold possible, we need the sponsorships so that we're prepared to be able to provide for our animals. It would be irresponsible of us to welcome a large number of animals without the resources to provide for them. And that's why the sponsorships are so important, to help us get these transport vehicles. Those are expensive, to help us pay for the gas, to help us pay for the veterinary care, to help us pay for so many different things that we need in order to give these dogs the chance at rescue that they deserve. If somebody asked me what I would say to a supporter who's supported Out of the Cold rescue efforts, I would give them a giant hug and say thank you. Like, look at the animals that we were able to serve as a result of your contribution and your support to this rescue effort. Without you, none of it would have been possible. So thank you to our sponsors and donors who have chosen to make a contribution towards our Out of the Cold rescue effort or to Coco's Heart throughout the year, because without that financial support, we could absolutely not do what we do.